And I wanted to do a tutorial for you that involves thread that changes color. Yeah, thread that changes color. There's this wonderful thread called solar activated thread, and I wanted to try it out. And so this is what this is what this is what the thread looks like, and I thought it would be neat to do some different techniques using this kind of weird, unique thread. Initially, when you see it, it's completely white. It's white. I've had this thread for the last 6 years. I know. I buy stuff sometimes and I just leave it in a drawer and forget all about it. And I know we are all guilty. We are all guilty of it. I know there's probably thread that you've intended to use and try out and play with. And so this is your challenge for this coming month. Use it. Pull it out and use it. I bought all this solar activated thread and I have never used it. It's brand new still. Well, it's been in my house for 5 years, probably, in a drawer that I won't throw away because I know I spent money on it. But today I decided that I'm going to use it. And so I went on my long arm quilting machine and I put it on my machine. I wanted to try it. What happened on my Facebook group is I asked them, I posted 3 different cards from Pinterest because I wanted to see if I could recreate some of the embossing. And they decided they liked a card that had roses on it. So I'm going to go ahead and post a picture of that card so you can see it. So I went on my long arm quilting machine and I went ahead and I did this one right here. Don't you love that rose? And this is what we call Trapunto. I did use blue and hot red. Come on, get it. These 2 threads. I did use those 2 threads, and I want you to see the back because I think the back is beautiful. And so this kind of recreated that beautiful embossing from that card. And let me share why I like cards that are embossed. They give you ideas of you trying to recreate something and then trying to figure it out. And so I went ahead and I asked my group. They said they liked the card with flowers. And here you see that I tried to recreate mainly the embossing, not the exact card, but I wanted the look that that card created, especially in different highlights. How that card just changed and got beautiful. You know, I just wanted to try something different, something new, and I really do hope you like this tutorial, and I'll see you in the process. I'll see you there in a minute, okay? Bye! So here you see me going to my computer and I put rose, black, clip art, and this is one of the roses that I found. I went ahead and printed it out on cardstock paper, and I'm using my Tooltron seam ripper as an X-Acto knife to cut out all the black outlines. I do recommend that you cut out from the outside in because when the paper thins out or you remove the paper on the inside, it becomes very fragile and you can go ahead and rip it and make a mess and then start over. You can use your Cricut or Silhouette to do this. I decided just to show you how to make your templates manually without having any machinery, and you save some money but you don't save time. So here you see me using my Fons & Porter's Graphite Water-Soluble pencil. I wanted to try it out. I've had it for a while, and I also have a fine line water-soluble marking tool, and this is in blue, and I kind of like it. What I ended up doing is I drew on the template or the roses on the fabric using my template, and I noticed that when I was on the sewing machine I had a hard time seeing the line, so I went back on my Fons & Porter's water-soluble graphite pencil. I'm showing you that on my machine I went around the dark areas and then I meandered on the center. This was my first try. I used the top fabric that I drew on, the back fabric, and 2 layers of warm and natural batting, and I tried to quilt it, and I'm going to post some pictures of what it came out. I don't like the pictures, or it didn't come out exactly how I wanted it. It wasn't as beautiful. The embossing didn't stand out, and it just kind of looked messy. I noticed bigger designs look better, and here I have leaves in the area, but you can't really see them because it looks like it's part of the meander. And this was my first try, so then I had to go back and brainstorm, and here you can tell that you can't even really see them, but they're there but not there. So we're going on part 2 of this process. I digitized a straight line stitch on that design, and I downloaded it into my embroidery machine, and I had the machine itself go ahead and do my first step. It did the outlines. You can see some of the stitching, and then I went back with and I did it with 2 layers of batting, and I started cutting the batting out so that I'm doing the trapunto. And this is a way of doing trapunto and kind of cheating, okay? This is me cheating. If you join my group on Lorena's Quilting, I downloaded the rows that I digitized, and I went ahead and I downloaded it, and it's free for you guys to have. If you do have an embroidery machine and you want to try this out, I do recommend when you're doing the embroidery that you use a water-soluble thread with the regular bobbin underneath. It doesn't matter. And then go back and embroider it. This is one of my favorite little scissors. This is from Finny. It's a German type scissor. I will put a link on it. They also have these scissors. These scissors, I don't know if you've seen them, but this is my favorite. I like them. They work really well. I think they have a really good warranty, but they're a little bit expensive. I got them at a quilt store, and they cut like butter. But these are my favorite to do trapunto because you could really get into the little details of it. Okay, so now you see me using my little scissors, and I'm going into that little kind of canal. I have my finger right underneath the fabric, so I make sure that the scissors don't go too far. And once I cut myself a little opening of the canal, I use the opposite end and start cutting out all the extra batting. This is going to take you some time, but you know what? It's worth it when you're finished. I also, once I've gotten everything done on the edges of where the thread is, I go ahead and angle and cut off all the extra batting. This is going to take you some time. I used several different scraps of warm and natural batting to do the embroidery, but it's really worth it. So this is what the trapunto is going to look like, and this is how you do trapunto, to be honest. What we're going to do now is you're going to go to your machine. I'm going to my long arm, but you can do this on your regular sewing machine. I personally just had issues being able to see, but I did do the quilting on the other design on my little sewing machine. I am using 2 layers of warm and natural. It's just extra scrap batting, and I use wool. And I tacked everything completely down and stretched everything. And here I'm showing you that I have my belly bar, and I'm only giving myself only 3 inches of space. And the reason I'm showing you that is if you're quilting far away, it's really hard for you to get a hold and see all that detail and be able to quilt it well. Also, when you're stitching the rows, I recommend that, for me personally, that you stitch around the line that was embroidered, and then you meander around. A lot of people tend to stitch down the area that was kind of trapuntoed and then quilt around. You can do that. It works either way, but I found for myself that if I stitched around the stitch line where the embroiderer stitched and stitch over it and then meandered, it was easier to maneuver, and I had less issues of having to stop and start. But it's all really preference. I also don't have a lot of video on this rows because when I threaded my machine, this thread kept breaking like crazy on me. I thought it was the thread because maybe it was old, but I think it got caught on one of my loopers and it was causing too much drag for it to handle. So when I rethreaded the machine, I changed the thread to a blue, thinking that it was a thread, but it's not the thread, it's how it was threaded. And here I started meandering with little swirls in between. And I ended up having more footage of this because I had less problems with my thread breaking. So here you see me quilting all the way around. And what I did is I quilted almost like a waterfall all the way down in the middle of the rows, not heart. And here you see me playing around with my rulers. When you're doing straight line stitching, it's good to have your table because then your straight lines will look really straight. And then when you go to an area that's already quilted, follow that same thread line and then go back. And that's what I did here. What I'm doing here is I'm just trying different distances, different lengths, how it is to maneuver on this machine with this ruler. I'm just playing because down the line I am intending to do this on a large quilt. And so here you just see me going back and forth and trying different techniques. I also wanted to add more thread so that I could see more of the change. And these are the threads that solar activated thread has. And this is what it looks like outside. The sun wasn't out as much, but it was out some. And so I'm thinking maybe the thread would change more color with the brighter sunlight. And this is what it looks like from a distance. And in a minute, I'm going to show you what the thread looks up close. And this is that white thread. In a minute, I'm going to hit it with the sun, and you see that white thread turn blue, which makes my flower area look a little bit more green. And here you see, when I did up close on the other one, you didn't see the pink change as much. It was just real soft mauve pink. And this is what the back looks like. So I hope you like this tutorial, and I hope you keep on watching with me, because I want to try different techniques, different types of styles of quilting. I just want to kind of like evolve as a great quilter. But it doesn't come without struggles, and that's why I didn't post. If you guys want me to post the tutorial on this, I will. But do you really want to see crap? Or do you want to see ta-da, tum 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 tum? I'm more of the fancy style looking person. Anyway, I hope you subscribe, I hope you hit like, and I hope you continue watching with me, because I have some other ideas that are coming your way. And I thank you for being patient with me, and also for you guys that have been watching with me for quite a while. Thank you for hanging out with me. I'll see you next time. Bye. See ya.